In the meantime, we're going to talk about some of the news that's happening and some of the things that fascinate me. Workers' comp fraud nets 18 suspects. I love talking about scary stories. I guess I'm in that mood tonight. I've already talked about one. This was an article that was forwarded to me by Robert Lanero of Empire Underwriters, Enterprise Insurance. I'm so sorry. Enterprise Insurance. And it's very interesting because it took place up in New York, but it takes place everywhere. The states are constantly cracking down on workers' comp fraud. And you hear these stories. I've even read articles where they argue that there is no such thing as workers' comp fraud anymore, but you can't deny the facts. And here we see a story about 18 people in New York arrested from 13 counties in a state crackdown on workers' comp fraud. Quite a bit of crooks out there, I guess. One man who collected $12,000 from the New York State Insurance Fund after he was classified as totally disabled for a back injury suffered working as a roofer. But investigators discovered he was working off the books for a contracting company while collecting the benefits. So, there were also people who were faking injuries and one woman who cashed the checks of her dead husband. Also not a good idea.
The questions I have, there's obviously a difference between fraud. This guy is working. He's going back to work and he's claiming it. It's not that he's going out. He might have had a disabled or a broken back and received those benefits. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he could still go out and fix his own roof or do work on his own house, but actually going out to work for somebody else. I mean, if you're on permanent disabled, can you go back to work, or are you able? Can you just collect it once and now you're on permanent disability for a?
Well, if you're considered to be permanently disabled, you cannot do the work that at one time you were supposed to do, and it would depend on the claim that you had. But unless there's a miracle cure and you've been cured by a faith healer, you're supposed to be out for good, which means that you wouldn't be working on your roof any more than anybody else's roof. You would not be capable of it. And so the question is really a question of capability. Are they capable of returning to work? Now, if they went back to work as a secretary, and in the past they had been a roofer, that would be different. If they can be a file clerk, that's fine. But these are people who are saying they can't do anything anymore because of their injuries, and apparently they were lying.
And it's certainly, if it's your employees, that's costing, and they're operating off the state fund there, but it's your employees, it's your insurance, it's your premium.
It drives up the insurance rates. It does.
So it's hurting them, and then it's also the fraud's hurting the whole state fund. The whole state is being affected by that.
And I've known companies in the past who play along with this workers' comp fraud. They think they're doing their employees a favor. I had a company once years ago contact me and say that the brother-in-law had faked a claim, and they had gone along with it because, it was family. And so they were willing to put him on their workers' comp policy, and then they were crying the blues because they had bad workers' comp rates. Yeah. Well, don't go along with fraud. You're going to end up, they were lucky they didn't end up getting arrested
this guy,
for that.
What kind of jail time is he facing for that?
I don't know. It would depend on the New York laws, but I know he's facing something unpleasant, even if it's just a fine, although I'm sure it's going to be more than that.
Hopefully, hopefully it warns other people not to take that risk, and for companies that it does happen, watch out for it. And it's not, he's going to be in trouble, but it's also affecting you. It's affecting how much you can do business, because you're going to be paying more for this.
Exactly, absolutely. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about that was related to that, really before the break when we were talking with Dave, was also the situation with the little girl. Again, companies have to watch their backs, and they need to be aware of what's going on, and they need to always be cautious about their business practices. Although this is really workers' comp fraud, again, like I said before, I've known companies that go along to get along, and they don't really want to challenge the workers' comp fraud that's going on within their ranks because they like them or because they're family. These are things that you cannot tolerate. It adversely affects you. It really does.